You just closed a winning trade. 5 trades in a row, all winners. You're up $3,000 for the week. You feel invincible. That voice in your head says, I've figured it out. I can't lose. The market makes sense now. So you size up. Double your normal position. The next trade hits your stop. Then the next one. Then the next one. 3 losses wipe out 5 wins. You end the week down $500. Or maybe it's the opposite. You take 3 losses in a row. You feel cursed. That voice says, nothing works. I'll never get this. Maybe I'm not cut out for trading, so you stop following your plan. You start second-guessing your entries. You hesitate on the next quality setup. It runs without you. Now you're convinced the market is against you. Both scenarios, same problem. You don't know how to handle winning, and you don't know how to handle losing. Today we're breaking down the psychology of winning and losing in trading, not as abstract concepts, but as specific mental states that require different management strategies. By the end of this, you'll understand why winning is often more dangerous than losing, how professional traders think about streaks, and the exact framework I use to stay mentally stable, whether I'm up or down. Before we dive in, I put together something that'll help with this. It's the Professional Trader's Emergency Protocol. Covers exactly what to do when emotions try to hijack your decisions, including what to do after wins and losses. 1 page, you can print it, keep it at your desk. Link is in the description, completely free. Also, if this is your first time here, hit subscribe. We're building out the complete Professional Trader Development Series, 1 video at a time. New psychology breakdowns every week. All right, let's get into it. The psychology of winning is more dangerous than the psychology of losing. Most traders don't believe this until they've blown up an account after a winning streak. But it's true, and here's why. Losing activates your threat response. Your brain goes into protection mode. You become cautious. You reduce risk. You review your process. Losing hurts, but it makes you careful. And in trading, careful often means that you stop doing stupid things. Winning does the opposite. Winning activates your reward system. Your brain releases dopamine. You feel confident. You feel smart. And here's the critical part. Your brain starts to believe that your recent success is due to skill. Yes, even when it might be luck. This is called outcome bias. Your brain uses results to evaluate decisions, even though in trading, good decisions can produce losses and bad decisions can produce wins. After a few wins, your brain says, whatever I'm doing is working. Keep doing it. Do more of it. So you start breaking your rules. Not because you're reckless, but because you feel like you've earned the right to bend them. You enter trades that don't quite meet your criteria. You size up because you're hot. You hold winners longer than your plan says. You're making changes to a process that was working. And you're making those changes from a place of overconfidence. Then variance catches up. The market shifts. Your edge stops working. And because you've been breaking your rules, you don't even know what went wrong. If you can't separate luck from skill because you stopped following the process that gave you the edge in the first place. Losing, on the other hand, makes you review everything. After 3 losses, you're going back to your journal. You're checking your rules. You're asking what broke. This review process, while painful, often leads you back to your actual edge. Losing forces you to return to discipline. Winning seduces you away from it. Professional traders understand this. They're more careful after wins than after losses. They know that the biggest account-destroying mistakes don't happen when you're down. They happen when you're up and feeling invincible. Now, let me break down the specific psychological traps that come with winning. There are 4 major ones, and most traders fall into at least 2. Trap 1 is skill attribution error. This is when you attribute wins to your skill and losses to bad luck. After a winning trade, you think, I nailed that entry. I read the market perfectly. I'm getting really good at this. After a losing trade, you think, the market was choppy. That was just a bad setup. Nothing I could do about that. The problem is that this creates a distorted view of your actual skill level. You start believing you're better than you are. And when you believe you're better than you are, you take risks that don't match your actual ability. Professional traders do the opposite. They attribute wins to both skill and luck. They attribute losses to both bad luck and mistakes. After a win, they ask, did I execute correctly? Yes. Did I also get lucky with timing? Probably. After a loss, they ask, did I execute correctly? If yes, it was variance. If no, what mistake did I make? This balanced attribution keeps your self-assessment accurate. You don't get overconfident after wins. You don't get demoralized after losses. You stay grounded in reality. Trap 2 is recency bias amplification. Your brain weighs recent events more heavily than past events. After 5 wins, those 5 wins feel more important than the 50 trades that came before them. Your brain forgets that you have a 60% win rate historically. It only sees that you're 5 for 5 right now. This makes you think your edge has gotten stronger, when really you're just experiencing normal variance. Every strategy has streaks. If you have a 60% win rate, you'll sometimes win 8 out of 10. You'll sometimes win 2 out of 10. Both are normal. But your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain sees 8 out of 10 and thinks, I've leveled up, so you size up. You take more trades, you get aggressive, and when the inevitable losing streak comes, you're trading too big with too much confidence. That's when small losses become big losses. Professional traders combat this by looking at larger sample sizes. After 5 wins, they don't think about those 5 trades. They think about their last 50 trades. What's the actual win rate over a meaningful sample? If it's still 60%, then 5 wins in a row is just variance. Nothing has changed. The edge is the same. Trap 3 is risk tolerance expansion. After wins, you become more comfortable with risk. The money you made feels like house money. It doesn't feel as real as the money you started with. So you're willing to risk more of it. This is why traders often give back their gains. They make $3,000 in a week, but that $3,000 doesn't feel like their money yet. It feels like bonus money, so they risk $600 on the next trade instead of their normal $200. They're risking 3 times their normal amount because the money doesn't feel real. Professional traders treat all money the same. Profits are not house money. Profits are your money. The $3,000 you made this week is exactly as real as the money you deposited. You protect it with the same discipline you used to make it. This means your position sizing doesn't change based on recent wins. You risk the same percentage whether you're up for the week or flat for the week. The edge doesn't change. The risk doesn't change. It's only the account balance changes, and even that doesn't change your risk until it's significant enough to adjust your baseline position size. Trap 4 is pattern recognition overfitting. After a few wins using a specific approach, your brain starts seeing that pattern everywhere. You had 3 winning trades where you entered on the first pullback. Now, every first pullback looks like a great entry, even when other criteria aren't met. You're overfitting to recent wins instead of trusting your broader process. You're chasing the pattern that just worked instead of waiting for your full criteria to align. This is how traders turn a winning strategy into a losing one. They take the thing that worked recently and overuse it until it stops working. Professional traders stick to their full criteria regardless of recent wins. If the strategy requires 5 conditions, you wait for 5 conditions. You don't shortcut to 3 conditions just because 3 conditions worked last time. Sample size matters. 3 wins is not enough data to change your process. Now, let me explain the specific psychological traps that come with losing. These are different traps, but they're just as dangerous. Trap 1 is confidence collapse. After a few losses, you stop trusting your process. You start thinking, maybe my strategy doesn't work. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I need a new approach. This doubt makes you hesitate on the next setup. Your criteria align perfectly, but you don't take the trade because you're scared it'll be another loss. Then it works without you. Now you're even more confused. You didn't trust your process, and the market punished you for it. This creates a spiral. The less you trust your process, the more you hesitate. The more you hesitate, the more you miss good trades. The more you miss good trades, the less you trust yourself. Professional traders separate process from outcome. After losses, they ask, did I follow my process? If yes, the losses are just variance. The process is fine. Keep following it. If no, what part of the process did I break? Fix that specific thing. Don't throw out the whole strategy because of normal variance. This requires you to actually know what normal variance looks like for your strategy. If your strategy has a 60% win rate, losing 4 out of 10 trades is completely normal. It's not a sign your strategy broke. It's a sign you're trading a 60% win rate strategy. Losses are built into the edge. Trap 2 is revenge trading from demoralization. This is different from the revenge trading we covered in an earlier video. That was revenge trading from anger. This is revenge trading from desperation. You're not trying to prove the market wrong. You're trying to prove to yourself that you're not a failure. After losses, you feel incompetent. You feel like you're wasting your time. You feel like everyone else is making money except you. So you take trades you wouldn't normally take. Not because you're angry, but because you need a win to feel okay about yourself. This is emotional trading, disguised as confidence building. You're using trades to manage your emotional state instead of using trades to extract edge from the market. And because you're taking trades from desperation, you're taking lower quality setups, which means more losses, which means more desperation. Professional traders don't use trading to validate their self-worth. They understand that losing streaks are mathematical certainties. If you flip a coin enough times, you'll get 5 tails in a row eventually. That doesn't mean the coin is broken. It doesn't mean you're bad at flipping coins. It means you understand probability. Trading is the same. Your 60% strategy will sometimes produce 5 losses in a row. That's not a reflection of your skill. It's a reflection of how probability works. Professional traders expect losing streaks. They plan for them. They don't let them mean anything about their identity as traders. Trap 3 is analysis paralysis. After losses, you overanalyze. You start looking for the thing you're doing wrong. You review every detail of every losing trade. You start seeing patterns that aren't really there. You convince yourself that you need to change something, so you start changing things randomly. You tweak your entry criteria, you adjust your stops, you try different time frames. You're making changes based on small sample sizes and emotional reactions. And because you're changing multiple things at once, you can't even tell what's working and what's not. Professional traders resist the urge to change things after losses. They ask, is my sample size large enough to draw conclusions? If I've only taken 10 trades, I don't have enough data. Even if I've lost 7 of them, come back after 50 trades, then evaluate. This discipline prevents you from destroying a working strategy because of normal variance. Most traders don't fail because their strategy is bad. They fail because they can't stop tinkering with a working strategy after a few losses. Trap 4 is risk aversion overcorrection. After losses, you become too conservative. You reduce your position size. You wait for perfect setups. You exit at the first sign of trouble. You're so scared of another loss that you strangle your edge. Remember, your edge comes from your risk-reward ratio and your win rate. If you start exiting winners early because you're scared they'll turn into losers, you've destroyed your risk-reward ratio. Now you need a higher win rate to be profitable, but your strategy was designed for the original risk-reward ratio. Professional traders keep their position size and risk-reward targets consistent after losses. If the strategy says risk 200 to make 600, you risk 200 to make 600, whether you just had 5 wins or 5 losses. The edge doesn't change based on your emotional state. Now, let me give you the professional framework for managing both winning and losing. This is what keeps you stable regardless of what's happening in your trading. The framework has 3 components: streak awareness, process verification, and emotional bracketing. Streak awareness means you track whether you're currently in a winning streak or losing streak, and you adjust your mental management accordingly, not your trading, your mental management. If you're in a winning streak, you increase your rule vigilance. You become more strict about following your criteria. That you remind yourself before every trade, I'm feeling confident right now. That makes me dangerous. Let me double check that this trade actually meets all my criteria. You're using the awareness of winning to protect yourself from overconfidence. If you're in a losing streak, you increase your process focus. You remind yourself, this is normal variance. My job right now is just to follow my process correctly, not to make money, not to prove anything, just to execute my strategy as designed. You're using the awareness of losing to protect yourself from desperation. Process verification means you have a checklist you run after every trade that evaluates execution quality independently from outcome. Did I wait for all my criteria? Yes or no? Did I enter at my planned price? Yes or no? Did I set my stop correctly? Yes or no? Did I manage the trade according to plan? Yes or no? Did I exit based on my rules? Yes or no? After a winning trade, you run this checklist. If you get 5 yes answers, you executed correctly. The win was deserved. If you get any no answers, you got lucky despite poor execution. Don't let the win reinforce bad habits. After a losing trade, you run this checklist. If you get 5 yes answers, you executed correctly. The loss was just variance. Keep doing what you're doing. If you get any no answers, you made a mistake. Fix that specific mistake. The separation of outcome from execution keeps you grounded in reality. You're not judging yourself by wins and losses. You're judging yourself by whether you followed your process. Over time, good process produces good outcomes. But in the short term, they're not the same thing. Emotional bracketing means you contain the emotional impact of any individual trade or streak to a specific time window. Then you close it and move on. After a win, you give yourself 5 minutes to feel good about it. Enjoy the win, then close that window. The win is over. The next trade is independent. After a loss, you give yourself 5 minutes to feel bad about it. Acknowledge the disappointment, then close that window. The loss is over. The next trade is independent. This prevents wins from creating overconfidence and losses from creating demoralization. Each trade gets its 5 minutes of emotional reaction, then you reset to neutral. You're not carrying yesterday's wins or losses into today's trading. The key is the reset. Professional traders develop reset rituals. After any trade, win or loss, they stand up. They walk away from their desk. They take 3 deep breaths. They remind themselves that trade is history. The next trade is independent. I'm starting fresh. This reset is what allows them to take the next trade with the same mental state, regardless of what just happened. The amateur carries every trade emotionally. The professional closes each trade mentally and starts the next one from neutral. So, to wrap this up, winning is more dangerous than losing because winning creates overconfidence while losing creates caution. The 4 traps of winning are skill attribution error, recency bias amplification, risk tolerance expansion, and pattern recognition overfitting. The 4 traps of losing are confidence collapse, revenge trading from demoralization, analysis paralysis, and risk aversion overcorrection. As the professional framework is streak awareness, process verification, and emotional bracketing. You increase vigilance during winning streaks. You increase process focus during losing streaks. You separate execution quality from outcome, and you emotionally reset after every trade. The amateur's equity curve looks like a roller coaster because their psychology swings with every win and loss. The professional's equity curve looks like a steady climb because their psychology stays stable regardless of short-term results. You don't need to eliminate emotions. You need to prevent emotions from changing your process. That's the difference. If you found this valuable, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're building out the complete mental game of trading, one video at a time. Next week, we're covering managing greed and fear. If they're the 2 emotions that destroy more accounts than any strategy ever could. And grab that emergency protocol from the description. Free resource, covers what to do in the exact moment when winning or losing tries to hijack your next decision. Print it, keep it visible, use it. The traders who master the psychology of winning and losing are the ones still here 5 years from now. Be that trader.